Hello, my name is Beck and welcome to a weekly reading vlog. I haven't vlogged in a very long time and it is well overdue. I've just been so busy this year. However, I wanted to become more accountable with my reading because I find that during the week I don't really read that much and I really want to read more. And so starting a vlog is my way of kicking myself up the butt in terms of reading. So I am currently reading Empire of Silence, which is an adult science fiction story. It's a very slow burn, it's a very long book. I'm exactly halfway into it because I did a little bit of reading on the weekend. And it's about this guy named Hadrian. He is the first son of this guy who rules an empire, basically a planet. And Hadrian has a younger brother named Crispin. Both of them are kind of vying for the throne and for power. At the same time, we're also looking at this narrative from Hadrian's perspective in the future. So he's looking back and telling us his story. And obviously it doesn't go to plan because everything kind of unravels rapidly. It's very much developing Hadrian's journey because he was this rich person, but also you have to have a story start somewhere with some kind of tension. So it's deeply built up all of the world. It feels like a fantasy, like an adult fantasy, but set in space. It is that detailed with all different races and everything. And so Hadrian, he is now at a point where we are looking at him through this lens where he doesn't quite have as much power as he thought he did. And there are various things that have happened in the plot that I quite like. And they're like particular tropes in fantasy, like rags to riches kind of thing with zero to power. And so he's really going on that journey at the moment and I'm liking who he keeps running into. But at the moment it kind of feels like building blocks and we haven't really got to like the thrust of the story. And given that I'm halfway in, I'm really hoping that happens very soon because I really want to like this more. I thought I'd give it a 4 or 5 stars and it's sitting on a 3.5, not because the writing is bad or the pacing is bad, it's just a very slow burning book and I thought that it would be, I guess, more tense and fast moving than it has been, and so my engagement has been up and down. So just because of that, it's about a 3.5 stars, but the writing is of great quality and again, it's very slow burning. So I'm hoping to finish this. I don't know if I actually will, but the hope is there. So we'll see where I stand at the end of the week. Again, I'm only halfway through and it's about a 600-page book. And I thought, picking up a 600-page book, that seems like a great idea when I'm in a reading slump. Not. So I hope I actually make some progress, but only time will tell. Additionally, I'm also listening to this on audiobook, Trader's Blade, the first Greatcoats book. This is a reread for me and I love this series. This is about Falcio. He is like a Three Musketeers kind of character with his two friends, Kest and Brasti. Both of them, or all three of them rather, have this back and forth banter with each other. Years ago, their king died about 4 or 5 years ago and he was overthrown by the dukes in the region. And so because of that, the Greatcoats, so Falcio and his friends and a lot of others, about 200 others, they were just thrown into the ether, I guess, and they're trying to make a living for themselves. So these guys, when the story opens, are trying to be sellswords, but they get set up on a job and it goes awry. And from there, it's very character driven, so I really struggle to nail down a plot for this, but I like it so far. However, the first time I read it, I gave it a 5 stars because of the tone and the vibe of the story. However, this time around there was a scene that I noticed that made me more uncomfortable than when I first read it, and that has knocked half a star off my rating. Even though I still love the book, that scene just really rubbed me the wrong way. So I'm almost at the end of this. I have 30 minutes of the audiobook left. So you'd think that I'd get to the end of this at the end of the week, right? And then as well as those, I'm also wanting to listen to the second Murderbot book. And I listened to the first one a couple of months ago. And I thought, I've started so many new series this year. And I'm so on myself about finishing series. And I haven't even continued a ton of them. So I thought, why not pick up the second Murderbot book? I didn't even get it on Audible. It was randomly available at my library, so I downloaded that and I have to finish it in like 2 weeks, otherwise my hold runs out. So I need to do that, but it's only about 2 hours, so I could get through that surely. But anyway, these are the things plus Murderbot that I'm currently reading and I'm hoping to get some progress made during this week, but we will see. It is now Tuesday and no, I'm not wearing the same thing as yesterday. I just like this colour. Also, I have read 100 pages of Empire of Silence. I'm liking it still, but again, it's very flowery in its writing and the pace is just very slow. So I do like it, but I just wish it was a little bit faster. And there's a lot of world building that is currently happening. There's a lot of politics starting to build up. All of it is really intriguing, so I am enjoying myself, but it just takes a lot of effort and concentration. And effort and concentration are things that just take a little bit more energy to muster, especially when I'm working full time during a pandemic. So I am enjoying it, will continue. I also finished Trader's Blade on audiobook and I gave that a 4.5 out of 5 stars. That's just a reread that I quite liked. It's got a Three Musketeers vibe and it's an adult fantasy quartet. I do plan on continuing the quartet, but I just don't know how soon I'm going to be able to pick up book 2. I've read them before anyway, so as soon as I can, I will. And then also I started the second Murderbot audiobook while I was playing Animal Crossing. I'm like 10-20 minutes into it, so far I don't really have any idea what's going on, but it picks up directly after the first novella. And these follow Murderbot, and they are an android, and they are, I think, commissioned to work for particular space crews, and they're there as like a guard if something goes wrong. But this Murderbot shouldn't be named Murderbot because all they want to do is sit down and watch TV all the time and like smash through seasons of reality TV and not be bothered by anybody, and also they have social anxiety. So it's really funny to read from this character who is supposed to be this assassin and has all of those skills for sure. I'm not selling them short whatsoever. It's really funny to read about them and just see how they just don't want to be around people. I guess I'm liking all of the stuff I'm reading at the moment, or all the stuff I was reading because I finished Trader's Blade. So I probably should pick up something else, but I feel like, no, I'll finish this before I pick up anything else. So this is really the goal to finish for this week. Hello, now it's Thursday. I've just filmed 2 videos, so I feel like I've been talking for 20 years, but this is the first you're seeing of me since the start of the week. I've got under 100 pages left of Empire of Silence, and I've also continued reading the Murderbot book, which is book 2 in the novella series. I'm about a third through, and I'm trying to listen to it as quickly as I can because I checked out my hold and it's for 12 days. 12 more days rather, so I'm trying to power through it. Also, I lost my headphones, so that makes it a little bit more difficult for me. So I'm going through the Murderbot book, and I'm going through Empire of Silence. I plan to finish this tonight unless I'm particularly stopped by something. We'll see what my update tomorrow is like. It might be a shameful update saying that I haven't finished this, but I'm gonna cross my fingers that when I'm off the camera, I can actually get my act together and finish it. Let's see how I go. So it's Saturday now, and I didn't finish Empire of Silence yesterday night. I got caught up talking to my family, but that's okay. I'm gonna finish it today. So after I finished Empire of Silence, I did earlier in my vlog say that I wanted to start something else. However, Dave went out and bought Ratchet & Clank on PS5. So I think that's gonna cover the rest of my plans after I finish reading that book. So I don't know if I'm gonna end up picking something else up after Empire of Silence, but I'm so excited to play this because I'm one of those people who adored all of the other Ratchet & Clank games. And I'm just so happy that this time during lockdown we actually have a PS5 and so we can play stuff like this. So these are gonna be our Saturday night, Sunday and Monday plans because Monday is a public holiday for us, and I am beyond excited to get into this because it just sounds incredible. So sorry to all of the books on my to be read pile apparently. It's a little later on Saturday and I finished Empire of Silence. I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 stars instead of 3.5 like I said at the start of this vlog. Things I liked about it were the world building and the politics, and how in each section of Hadrian's life there were very distinct environments built up, and I appreciated that a lot, as well as all of the politics that was unfurling in here. But I think it was just a lot of detail to bite off in one bite, and so because of that it felt kind of overwhelming, and at points it stagnated, so I felt that I was skim reading at points too to get through the story faster. It just felt very long-winded ultimately, but while I did enjoy it, I just don't feel the tension or the fire. There were awesome battle and action scenes smattered through in this, and I loved them, but when it came to reading the book overall, it felt like I was waiting a very long time in between those scenes. So that's why I'm giving it a 3. It didn't spark a fire in me. I liked it for what it was, but I'm not particularly passionate about it. So I'm just happy that I got through it really, and I'm happy I didn't DNF it because it was good, but it was just not amazing. So a 3 stars. So that means so far this week I have finished 2 books. This one was mostly finished anyway, and I just filmed a review for it as well, so that will be up on my channel very shortly. So I finished this, and I'm still reading the Murderbot book, so hopefully I can read a little bit more of that. We'll listen to it while I'm playing Switch later with Animal Crossing. We'll see. I'm likely going to be playing Ratchet & Clank instead, so don't hold me to that. I don't think I'm going to finish Murderbot for this vlog, but anything can happen really. Why hello, it is now Sunday, and not only did I finish Empire of Silence yesterday, but today I also finished the audiobook I'm listening to. So I gave that a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I liked it more than the first book, but the way that it seems to be formulated, it seems to remove Murderbot from the characters that I like and then place them somewhere else. And while that is interesting because it sets up something new each time, it's also annoying because the only character that I'm really forming a bond with is Murderbot, and I like it when there's more of a cast of characters, at least personally. So while this was more interesting and more driven than the first book, I wish it was just more character-centric at the same time, if that makes sense. So we did get a few others introduced in this one, and I quite like those additions, so I hope those continue. Okay, so now that I finished that one, I also read 50 pages of The 22 Murders of Madison May, and this comes out on the 29th of June, I think, at least in Australia. Technically it's called a July release, but it releases at the end of June. It's a murder mystery, so it opens with this girl, obviously Madison May. She's a real estate agent, she's 22, and she gets killed by this guy, and now there's obviously a criminal investigation, and the woman who kind of picks up on the case is a reporter, and while she's investigating it, something weird happens to her. So it's a murder mystery, but it's also got a sci-fi aspect in there where there are 22 murders of Madison May because they each have happened in parallel universes. So that's essentially what the premise for this is, and it's only like 300 pages, so I feel like I could smash this out because the font is quite big, and sure enough I did read those 50 pages in one hit yesterday, so I imagine that this is going to be finished very, very quickly. And that is a very strong way to end this vlog. I finished Empire of Silence, The Murderbot Diaries book 2, and I've read 50 pages of this, so I'm pretty happy. Oh, I also finished Trader's Blade, but I didn't really read that during this month, I just kind of finished it off. So 3 for 3, I'm happy that I've finished. Plus I've started another one, and now after finishing an audiobook, I have my scope free to pick something new, and that's likely going to be a Dresden book, so I hope I can get to that very soon. But as for this vlog, I'm going to end things here. I'm not going to continue into the public holiday because we're just going to be playing No Man's Sky and Ratchet and Clank tomorrow. So thank you so much for watching this video. Come chat with me about what you're reading down below, and thank you again so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.